right, this is still Good Morning Nigeria, live on the network service of the NTA, and it's time for newspaper review because Chukwudi Okoli Obaja is already seated and flipping through the pages. Yes. Good morning, Chukwudi.
Hello, Victor. How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Good morning. We slept peacefully last night.
Yes. Because of the rain.
Yes. I really pray that this time around it's going to come in steady stream.
Yes.
Farmers are getting worried.
Yes. And some have even planted and...
We are hitting May already.
But I need to specially recognize your dignified personality. Good morning, Jumai.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, Chikudu. Let's quickly go to the papers we don't have much time today. I'll begin with the Blueprint newspaper. The Blueprint newspaper is what I will start with. And above the masthead, just below the masthead, Zulum approves appointment for 15 persons with disability. You find the details on page 7. Sports Minister putting pressure on NFF to appoint Amunike. If you want to know why, you find the details on page 32. 12, yeah. And the headlines in the Blueprint newspaper: business activities suffer as Nigerians lament biting fuel scarcity. With riders, queues return to Lagos, Abuja, Kwara. Commodity sells for between 800 to 1,000 naira per litre. Syrup sues NNPCL over missing $2.04 billion and 116 billion naira revenues. You want to know what it's all about, you go to page 8. Tinubu tax global community on poverty in Africa, Sahel region. Secures $600 million seaport investment with Danish giant Moller Maersk. You find the details on page 6. 90 at the bottom plate of the new Blueprint. 19 killed in Okene Lokoja highway auto crash. Details on page 7. 3 Yoruba Nation agitators attack OSEC officials arrested in Ayete. Find the details on page 9. EFCC chair appoints Nzekwe as CSO. Names 14 new zonal directors. And in Lagos, on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, FG begins property demolition, assures early compensation. And let me quickly go to the new Telegraph newspaper, and above the masthead reports 10 banks personnel expenses rise by 45.8% to 871.56 billion naira. And at the headlines in the new Telegraph newspaper, WEF fuel subsidy removal saved Nigeria from bankruptcy. That's coming from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. With Rider, secures 600 million investment in port infrastructure from Maersk, markets Nigeria's investment potentials in tech to Gates Samsung. And at the bottom plate of the new Telegraph, mass resignation. PDP will resist APC's plot to turn Nigeria into one-party state. Parties bought chair. And the Rider says members' grievances will be resolved soon. Oyo local government poll, PDP wins all 33 chairmanship seats. Details on page 3 and 29. State police will curb rising security challenges, lawyers say. And with a Rider as insecurity rekindles clamor for multi-layered policing system. Find the details on page 9, 10, 11, 14, and 16. And the picture story you see there, Deputy Managing Director, Zenith Bank there, and other officials of the Zenith Bank. And at the side piece of the picture story, ex-Irish mayor, greedy politicians won't allow Nigeria to go back to parliamentary government. Details on page 27. Tinubu wife, reps, caucus mourn victims of Rivers tanker fire. With Rider, NGF chair visits Fubara, canvasses safer transport system. And Senate expresses concern as Naira depreciates again. DHQ, Prince Harry wife to visit Nigeria next month, will meet with service members to be hosted in cultural activities. 2024 UTME candidates, parents laud exam speed innovation. And Nigeria Airlines domestic market strongest in Africa.
Okay. And from the front page of the Leadership, the major headline reads, calls for new constitution. NAS turns a deaf ear. Proceeds with amendment. That story is on page 4 with 2 riders. Reps say their calls for anarchy, chaos. Receive 13,500 memoranda. Reforms will be taken seriously. That's according to the Senate. And just above the nameplate, Kanu begins probe of Anduje today. That story is on page 12 if you want details. Recapitalization. Banking stocks declined by 2.069 trillion naira in 16 days as banks have 24 hours to submit recapitalization plans and strategies. That story is on page 7 if you want details. And then 19 die, 2 rescued in Okene auto crash. That's according to the FRSC, and the story is on page 26. Prices of foodstuff drop in Adamawa, Borno, Yobe. You find that on page 32. Gunmen kill Ayedatiwa's campaign coordinator in Ondo. You can find details of that on page 29. And finally, from here, bandits loot abandoned Niger villages. For details, get it on page 8 of the Leadership newspaper. Chukwudi.
Hello, Victor. Thank you. First of all, we have to talk about what should be the greatest in the immediate, that is, national headache. That's the seeming unavailability of PMS, the petroleum motor spirit, known widely as petrol. I think that it's easing, a bit, but it's still something close to bedlam in some areas in the country. As I was coming, I noticed that not more than 2 filling stations on that access up into Abuja, had petrol. Of course, the queues are telling, so to speak.
Is it have or sell it? Because they have
no.
and not
One
sell.
of them had already started, dispensing. The other one, you could see that the people were hopeful that they would sell fuel. So by now they should have started. But of course, you need to return to that state of normality we knew till about 5 or 6 days ago when the seemingly unnatural scarcity started. So far,
I love that. Unnatural.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
I love that. It's unnatural.
Seemingly unnatural. Logistics seems to be taking quite some time to iron out, but it's okay. You can't treat certain things that are inevitable as things that you can achieve, but it's okay. Now Nigerians resort to charcoal firewood as cooking gas price spikes further. This is of great concern to me. The first thing is that we don't seem to have a conscious afforestation policy or program in this country. In spite of the advancing desert, we don't seem to. And now cooking gas is moving up. Kerosene already had moved up, which was the first culprit in terms of the deforestation we are seeing. I pray that the federal government is going to make it a very, very important policy to reforest Nigeria, to cut down the rate at which we're turning the entire landscape into a desert.
Yes,
plant trees.
Including us as individuals.
Of course, yes. We are saying that
if you fell a tree, you plant another
if you
in its
lead the culture, normalize it in the thinking of the people, they too would follow suit.
Yes.
Sometimes actually you need
But
leadership.
there's a way they do it, in developed countries. They just cut, and then leave it. It grows up again.
That's because
why can't we do that?
That's
we
because
uproot it
some
from the...
social awareness has happened. I told you,
Yes.
for instance, that part of the reason we do many things we do here is that social etiquette is not in us enough. It's not about being a good Muslim or a good Christian.
Yes.
You could be a good Christian or a good Muslim, if you don't learn etiquette, you're not going to demonstrate
But we're killing our world.
You understand?
Our world is dying.
It's just like we said the other time. Yes, teaching you content, how to make it and how to deliver it to the public is very important.
It's very important.
But if you don't plan, for instance, you know, what was the term we give to it now? I'm going to remember. It makes you live with Victor in a most harmonious manner.
Yeah.
Very important at the workplace. If you do not put it in people, you're going to have one heck of a time trying to rein them in terms of obeying company policy and making the workplace a very good place for, you know, a dance of positivity.
Yes.
You understand? That's the point we are making there. Then, of course, the national economy talks about the minimum wage, which in 2019 was fixed as at 30.
Yes.
It's now addressing the fact of unaffordability, which is now the lot of everybody. We said the other time that people tend to be spending ×3 of their official earnings. That is going to cause a distortion. I'm bringing this up because I want to hear that Labour and government, the lifespan of the financial palliative is ending. From April, you're supposed to...
Well, we hope to hear good news on 1st
So
May,
we pray that
they
get down to brass tacks as early as possible.
Yes.
It's very... I was talking about emotional intelligence.
Yes.
That's the term that eluded me earlier. Very important for people to move forward, you know, even at the community level.
Yes, exactly.
When you have emotional intelligence, which requires you to be the one that makes the difference. People misunderstand it. They think that emotional intelligence is about Victor meet Chukwudi halfway so that there will be peace. It's about Chukwudi or Victor taking all measures possible to ensure that everything goes
okay, Mr.
well.
Chukwudi, you know, today we really don't have time
Yeah,
we have to let you
10
go. We're not...
No, I know.
We are polite.
We are politely telling you that it's time.
I am reducing my movement on this chair, so I'm not going to say that you're not going to, you know?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We'll take a break. When we return, our conversation will begin. Don't go away.